Okay, so the next year, 2019, you put out your 9th album, Born to Rap. Debuted 19 on the Billboard. You got Ed Sheeran on this album.
Yeah, man. Guess right. Hey, man, we just be doing music.
You really pull out the craziest guest appearances. You got Ed fucking Sheeran on there, as well as 21 Savage, Chris Brown again, Mozzie, and Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, man.
Only for Nipsey Hussle to get killed that same year on March 31st. I was in LA. I've interviewed Nipsey before. We've run into each other, had conversations. We were supposed to do another interview, but whoever messed it up, on the label side. I've always admired Nipsey a lot. I remember how LA felt on that day when you heard the news. Because remember, in the beginning, you didn't know that he was dead. You heard about the shooting.
Right.
But you're like, okay, people get shot. You've gotten shot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. Pac got shot for the first time. People in hip hop, people feel like you survive after that first shooting.
I feel like when you get shot, if you're not dead, when you get shot and you don't die immediately, that you're gonna be all right. That's just how I feel.
And that's the news. Okay, Nipsey's gotten shot, but the ambulance are coming. Like, okay, look, he's gonna make it.
Right, because the homies was right there. My homie Sonic just happened to be ironically passing down Crenshaw as it was transpiring. He was like, and he stopped and got out of his car. He's like, yo, they just shot Nip. And I'm like, what you mean they just shot Nip? Like, what do you mean they just shot Nip? I don't even understand that because I wasn't in hip hop when Tupac died.
Yeah.
But this felt like that.
Yeah.
And Nip was my homie. Nip was my homie, like my homie. Like I met Nip before he was a rapper in my car with him passing me his demo and then me bringing him to the studio and getting on songs to like help him elevate.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
So yeah. So I knew Nip before that. And I knew Nip before he even started rapping when he had the Jerry curl Nip and he was like slanging incense. Nip was just hustling on Crenshaw. I would always pass down Crenshaw because that's where the chicks was. You got a dope car, you go down Crenshaw. And so when I got that news, man, I walked outside. I sat on the stairs, that lead down to my pool, and I just looked at the sky, and I want to say I prayed that he would just pull through, and I Googled Nipsey, and no reports of him even getting shot yet. So I was early on the news, and I mean, maybe 5 to 7 minutes later, man, TMZ and CBS and shit just started going down the line, and Nipsey got shot. Still wasn't saying he was dead though. I don't think it was till he got to the hospital, maybe like an hour or two after it, that they came out and said that Nip had died, and I could just remember shedding genuine tears, man, because I just did not understand that, especially due to the fact that we was just at Chalice in the parking lot. He was in there fucking with Hit Boy, and I was in there working on some shit, and we just was talking in the parking lot, leaning on a Maybach, talking about how to elevate from the shit that would render you helpless. And so for him to die in the manner that he did, in the hood that he came from, the way that he put on for that neighborhood and that city, and how much he put into wanting it to be more than what it was devastating to me, man. It was devastating to me.
Yeah, I mean, he was Crenshaw. I just interviewed a rapper that came in all Crenshaw gear. Like, he was Crenshaw. And it happened right there in front of his own store with all his friends by someone he knew.
That was
part of the same overall gang that he was in.
That was the irony, man.
Shitty cuz.
Yeah, the Nip shit, man. Still to this day, it ain't right. Went to the funeral, it wasn't right. It just felt like it was a Nipsey funeral, but don't feel like it was a funeral for Nip. I just don't feel like, man, that Nip should be dead right now. I don't feel like that. In my heart of hearts, I just do not feel like Nipsey Hussle should be dead, man. I just don't feel like it. And that at that point, it almost makes you stop giving a fuck for a quick second, right? Because This is somebody you know. This is somebody who you had a hand in helping them rise. This is somebody who was a good fucking person, who was intelligent, smart, and was for the people. And it made me feel like, it made me feel exactly like how maybe Snoop felt when Pac died. It made me feel exactly how somebody felt when Martin Luther King died. And people might see this interview and say, you comparing Nip to Martin Luther King? Yes, I am.
There's a comparison to that.
Yeah,
in fact, well, I mean, Nip had what is a Malcolm X chain that he used to wear all the time. Yeah.
And when you look at Nip from the beginning until, you know, he died, the things that he was saying, the things that he was uncovering, the things that he was preaching about, the things that he would rap about, it was all elevation, not just for him, but for everybody that listened and everybody that was around him. So it does have a Malcolm X vibe to it. It does have a Martin Luther King reminiscent tone to it. It is like Tupac, and he should be respected and legendary and all of that shit. And I told Wack that when Wack, you know, sometimes Wack be saying some shit and I'll be like, nah, man, this is my opinion. And we butt heads over shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, Nip, I don't want to hear nobody talking down on what Nip was, his early demise, and because he only put out that one album that he wasn't gonna be this or gonna be that. You'd have to know Nip to know Nip, and that's just where I'm gonna leave it. It ain't, that shit wasn't right. It ain't right. It don't feel right today with me sitting here. So yeah.
The prolific tattoo on your face, you did that after Nip died?
Yeah, for sure.
He had the same thing, right?
Yeah, I had to. And
then don't you have a portrait of him?
Yeah, I got Nip right here
on your chest.
Yep.
I mean, that just shows how important he was to you. He's a permanent part of you at this point.
He was important to me. He was important to my children. He was important to LA, the world, as you see how, you know, huge of an impact his death was on the world. And he's definitely important to his family, his children, and he's still important. He's always going to be important, man. And that's just Nip.
Yeah, I mean, I remember after he died, Kodak Black had made some comments about Lauren London.
Yeah,
saying he wants to go there and you went off on that. And once again, you had, not to say you had anything to do with this, but later on when Kodak came to LA and he got shot, the word was it had something to do with those foul comments that he made about Nipsey. Like I said, I'm not saying you had anything to do with it.
But again, man,
this is what the streets were saying.
I didn't like his remarks. I didn't like his remarks at all, and especially not with Nip not being here. I feel like if Nip was here, I don't know if he would have did that. And again, man, I got a lot of respect for Kodak, man. I got a lot of respect for Kodak. I could see through him. I know who's inside of Kodak. I know the kid that's inside of him, man. And he got a good heart, and he make good music, and he a good dude at heart, man. So again, I don't got no ill nothing towards Kodak. I like his music. I really appreciated him on Kendrick's album, and I seen him recently taking some, you know, hits online for, you know, how he may have looked or what he might have been on or whatever. But
it seemed like he was intoxicated off something. Yeah,
it may be, but his prerogative. But but regardless of his state, it's his state. Right? Yeah. Not nobody else's. And I'm pretty sure at the end of the day, he appreciates the concern. But, you know, for me, man, let that man live his life the way he want to live it, man. We all out here trying to figure it out.